Hi guys, and welcome back to the latest video. This video is more of a discussion-based video on some of the theories going around from chapter 318 and chapter 319 of My Hero Academia. So without further ado, let's hop right into the content. As we know from chapter 318, we see Deku has been continuing his work as an independent hero, taking on the world himself. Even with Endeavor telling Deku that he will have more help and that Deku should recover, Deku doesn't listen and still feels like he can continue because he's still on his feet. Let's really think about this. Deku, simply because he's still standing, rationalizes continuing his mission with a reckless abandon, completely neglecting his injuries. To him, consciousness now means that his mission isn't done and he has more to do. He has worked himself into such a sick cycle of truly being the embodiment of his goal and mission, sacrificing his own self. Chapter 318 also showed us that Deku doesn't listen to even the previous users of One For All, which is even more telling of his overall resolve for his goal. With Bakugo now arriving and saving Deku, it's likely the rest of his class is inbound, or at least the notable figures within it, particularly Uraraka, Todoroki, and likely Kirishima and Momo. With so many of his classmates coming, I've seen lots of theories flying around on whether Deku will even go along with the help they're trying to bring. As we've seen, Deku won't listen to Endeavor, the current #1 hero, All Might, his father figure, or the previous users of One For All, so it makes me wonder why Deku would listen to Bakugo and his friends, his peers. It makes sense why these theories are flying around on Deku apparently going to fight his entire class and he's going to fight Bakugo again. I don't believe this is the case. Although people speculate that Bakugo will fight Deku to knock some sense into him, I don't think that would be the case as Deku is so wounded. I don't think that Bakugo would even find pleasure in fighting Deku in such a weakened state. I truly believe that those Deku looks up to within Endeavor, All Might, the former users, were never the ones who were supposed to bring Deku back to reality, but instead those to bring him back to reality are his peers who have been with him since the beginning. His mentors are always trying to give him advice and push him in the right direction, but his friends are blunt, especially within Bakugo. Deku needs individuals who are his equals to show him the truth of what his reality has become and enable him to be assisted. As we know, the second user is familiar with Bakugo, likely from residing within Deku, and it's clear the second user and Bakugo have some similarities in their personality and their views, one of them most notably being defeat meaning death. It seems that the second user is aware of Bakugo's influence over Deku and the duality they possess that complete each other. I think in this next chapter, Bakugo will truly bring Deku home and allow him to rest and recover. In doing so, it's likely Bakugo will say it in an interesting fashion, and he's probably going to tell Deku that he's a fool to think that he's the only one who's going to defeat All For One. Because remember, there's no one pushing for #1 harder than Bakugo. As we saw from previous chapters within chapter 310, the second user gathered people together to fight against All For One, so he believes that teamwork and unison is better, while Deku is instead doing it alone out of fear of his friends and allies getting hurt. But that isn't Deku's responsibility to worry about his fellow heroes. They're heroes just like himself who every day put on their hero uniform and risk their life to fight against evil. What's really interesting to me is the juxtaposition in the direction that heroism has taken both Bakugo and Deku. In these old images side by side with the new, we can see that Bakugo has turned from a villainesque looking kid to someone who truly wants to help his friend in need, whereas Deku follows the opposite. We see him as a kid with love and aspiration in his eyes in the beginning to now someone we can't even recognize and who people mistake as All For One himself. The duality of Bakugo and Deku never ceases to amaze me, and I'll be coming out with a video soon on why Bakugo and Deku are truly the perfect pair within MHA. Hopefully within this video we were able to kind of clear up some of the misunderstandings of these theories that Bakugo and Deku aren't going for round 2 in their fight. I'm sure eventually down the line Bakugo and Deku will fight again, but I think it's pretty clear that Bakugo will only fight Deku in Deku's most healthy and perfect state. Bakugo doesn't want to settle for a Deku who's completely wounded and injured. As we said last chapter, I think he will need Bakugo and Uraraka to remind Deku, listen Deku, you're not just a hero. You're Izuku Midoriya, a person. It's okay to rest and you have allies for a reason. They aren't weak. Class 1A, or I guess now technically 2A, is not a bunch of weaklings. They've all been training strong and they've all grown through all of the tremendous things they've been through. So guys, if you enjoyed this discussion video, please don't forget to drop a like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, I'll see you all next time.